Hi, this is Howard Getson, CEO of Capitalogics. I am with a longtime friend, John Hittler. John, we've known each other since the late 90s, and you've been involved in helping people find their genius for as long as I can remember. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell people a little bit about what you do?
Thanks, Howard. Yeah, my name is John Hittler, and that really is my last name, Hittler. I created a process with a couple of partners where we tease out your singular gift of genius level talent. We call it genius talent. And so I'm fortunate to work with that every day, and I work with teams in doing that. And it's an awful lot of fun.
Yeah, well, so I've been through your process, and I asked you to be on this podcast because I knew you had a new book. I thought the process was terrific. The name of your company is Evoking Genius. What's the name of your book?
The book is called, I'll show it to you, it's called The Motivation Trap. It's essentially, in 10 words or less, it's a full indictment of the overuse of motivation especially by CEOs. The concern I get from CEOs is they say, gee, I just can't keep my people motivated. And it kind of makes me want to puke on my shoes. I go, why are you motivating people? The truth is you, me, everybody shows up most days not fully at 100%. We either didn't get a great night's sleep, or we got something on our mind, or we had a little tiff with our spouse, or traffic was horrible. Do you come in fully motivated to do things at a high level? No, and still you have to produce.
Yeah, but on the other hand, John, high performance or being able to create productive output is the key to business.
Absolutely.
So what are you recommending?
So the tool doesn't take very long to indict motivation, and then moves on a power curve from lowest to highest of tools you can engage that are much more sustainable and really bring much better performance over long periods of time for most people. And they're accessible. Say that again?
You're not talking about drugs or chemicals. You're talking about thinking tools or things that you can do to the environment.
It's really about getting team leaders, CEOs, and even heads of household. Think about trying to motivate your fourth grader to do homework. If you're using a traditional carrot and stick approach, by about the third day of school, you got no bullets left in your gun, because you either have to take away the video games, which is a form of negative motivation, or you got to entice them with something that they want. And that works well for about 3 days. And if they don't want to do their homework by September 15th, you're kind of screwed. So motivation just doesn't work. It's the same for CEOs. And we often ask our CEOs, I'll ask you, Howard, what's the only difference between children and adults?
The price of their toys.
Right. It's the only thing. We're as a kid, we're driven by the same. If I don't want to clean up my room, you can punish me forever as my parent, and I'm still not going to clean up my room. I'm not gonna. And if your employees don't want to give extra effort or play full out or take on a big goal, they'll find ways to stonewall or make excuses or whatnot. Essentially, they have to want to do it, and trying to motivate them with an incentive or an enticement, that really doesn't work very well.
So back in the 90s, you and I were in the same strategic coach class, and Dan
Yes.
had this concept called unique ability and unique ability team. And it was based on this primary concept that says there's things that you're excellent at that either make you strong or make you weak. And,
Yes.
and something that takes energy, you can call that excellence, but it's actually bad for the company. You're looking to do things that you're not only excellent at, but give you energy, make you more, because you're more likely to do it in the face of challenges, in the face of competition, in the face of a lack of motivation. It's more in terms of your base nature. So you're really talking about how not to fight Mother Nature.
It's the terminology we use is you're getting people to run towards what they want as opposed to running away from what they don't want. So in your company or mine, nobody wants to get fired. You could say, Howard, either get this done by Friday or you're out of here. They're running away from the fear of being fired or written up or demoted or penalized. And so it's not a great way. And you say, you know what, we could change the world. Are you in? and you go, God, I'd love to do that. Now they're chasing what they already want. Much easier. There's no motivation there at all. Now you've aligned them with something they already want to do. And if you're really good at it, you've aligned their talents to be perfectly suited to chase what they want. Now they're going, are you kidding me? Howard pays me to do this. It's amazing. He pays me to do this. And I get to do this all day long. And you go, great fit.
So I know that one of your other friendships and relationships with Simon Sinek, who wrote Start With Why.
Yes.
How is this similar, or how does it relate to some of those concepts?
Sure. So Simon, obviously his focus is on purpose and why. It's in the same direction. Our claim, and Simon and I talk about this, and we kind of kid about it, is if you haven't figured out your why, and let's say you're 40 years old, our process includes your fundamental statement of purpose for your life, but we do that after we find your singular gift of talent and how you deliver it forward. Those two take about 45 minutes. So our theory is if you've gone 40 years of your life and you don't have your why, can you wait 45 more minutes before we attach your why to your singular gift of talent? And I kid with Simon about that.
How many people have you done this for right now?
We don't have an exact count, but it's north of 8,000. We've done it with over 8,000 people now. We do know that. We can calculate that, but I don't have an exact number. We're now starting to count.
All right. So, and you did it with me back in like 2014 or 2015. Use your memory. What is my talent or purpose, or what is something you remember from that?
Sure. So you're asking me to remember 1 out of 8,000, which is not a bad odds, but I'll take but it's you. So it's, yeah, since you're special, exactly. What I remember is that one of the things it's what we say you cannot not do. It's not just that you're talented, but you have to do it, is you have to challenge conventional thinking and what you might call the status quo. When you see something at a restaurant, when you walk in and you go, everybody does it this way, and you go, why the heck? It drives you nuts. It doesn't have to be in the options game, the hedge fund. It doesn't have to be sought. Anything you see.
I see what's possible, and not only that, I believe everything can be made better.
You do, and you see the margin of what they're leaving on the table. Sometimes it's only a little bit, and then you go, it's a little bit, don't worry about it. But there's times when you see a 50% margin, and you walk into a car dealership.
A transformative difference, right? Some people would say that what I do is I challenge, but I tried to find another word for it. I like to be thought-provoking. And as long as I can be thought-provoking in a way that people understand is well-intentioned, and where I'm present and I'm actively participating in that, then great things happen.
Yes,
sure. What are 3 things people are going to get by reading your book?
So as a manager, as a leader, they're going to create a ton more free time. Because manipulation by definition is short-term. If I manipulate, or not manipulation, motivation, sorry, what a Freudian slip that is. If motivation is a short-term game, when you come in this morning, I got to get you all jazzed up to do your work. Problem is, you come back from lunch, I got to jack you up again. It's a never-ending game to play.
Well, let's link manipulation and motivation. If you're doing it to manipulate their state so that they can do something, you're right. It's the difference between power and force.
And we talk a lot about power and force in the book. Yeah. The simple distinction for force, and people mistake it for power. Force is an exercise in the necessary amount of domination to get what you want.
That's one. What's 2 others?
Sure. So the big one for leaders and for team members is they know exactly what they're doing. They know why they're doing it. It's incredibly efficient when you show up at work and go, I know what I need to do. I know why I'm doing it. I enjoy it, and I collaborate with my partners. That works really well when you get away from the motivation game. Much easier to do when we have a centralized purpose, and then we connect each person's individual purpose to an overall objective. You go, I know my role. I know why I'm playing it. Let's go. I don't have to babysit anybody as the team leader or the manager anymore.
Yeah, it's momentum trading energy.
Yes, and it's very much like Newton's law. An object in motion tends to stay in motion, and an object at rest tends to stay at rest. And this is what motivation they do. They go, oh, Howard's at rest. He got back from lunch and he's unfocused, or he's dicking around, or he's stonewalling, or he's wasting time. He's not in motion in the direction we need him. We need to somehow push him forward, or if you will, dominate him to get forward. And oftentimes that's fear-based. So not very efficient, not very effective.
And the third?
The third is you get to choose the context at which you play. And what I mean by that is you could simply we could take an efficiency model. We say, this is way more efficient. Isn't that interesting? And people go, gosh, it's fascinating how much more efficient. Or we could say, it changes the world. It's aspirational. You go, I'm all about change. You can change, you can pick the level at which you want to play, again, on an aspirational or an inspirational level.
So John, similar concept. In a sense, it's kind of like putting on different hats, right? But as a leader, sometimes you can be a coach, sometimes you can be a consultant, sometimes you can be a facilitator, a mentor, a moderator. Can you just...
Sometimes you can be a jerk, and it's totally fine. They're all necessary at times. They're just different tools. And you want to use in abundance tools that help people, that improve relationships and drive performance, and you want to use sparingly ones that are manipulative or mean-spirited or what we call fear-based. They're essentially a scarcity model, and motivation is built from a scarcity model.
And part of what you're really saying is, if it's happening unconsciously, it's unconscious, but as soon as you understand the tool and what you're doing, you can apply it consciously, and it's better.
Yes. Both good and bad. Yeah. And what when we notice that, and oftentimes we see younger team leaders using what I would call an excess of motivation. Motivation is not a bad tool. It's short term. That's one of the limitations, because if it's short term, you got to keep applying it. And it's like having to put on sunscreen every 30 minutes. After a while, you're a greasy mess, and you go, if I have to put it on every 30 minutes, after a while, I'm just not going to go out in the sun. And you say, I'll stay indoors. Oh, okay, that's not what we wanted to do. We wanted you to go out and have fun, but our tool doesn't allow that. You go, yeah, motivation is very much the same way.
So what website should they go to find out about this other than Amazon?
Sure. Amazon is for the book. They can go to our website, which is evokinggenius.com. They'll see the book. They'll see all kinds of things. I'm not an author, if you will, by trade. I love to write. The second book will be out spring of next year. It's already written, but really what we do is we coach and we transform cultures and drive performance. And that's mostly what the website's about. But you'll see the book on there as well.
Well, John, I think you're awesome. I think the book's awesome, and I thought the process was awesome as well. So,
okay.
And congratulations, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks much.